Good evening, good morning, good afternoon. Coming live from Fiber Heart, children of God, and that's you, and that's you, and that's me, and that's me. I hope all of you, all of you. We may consider continue singing reels at another time. I was wanting to leave YouTube also because of the excessive influx of AI. I've actually seen ministers I enjoy watching from time to time. One is Marmari. He is in, I think near Sydney, Australia. He fled from a Middle Eastern region, something with he may have even come up against trouble with the church. He was an Orthodox priest or minister, much more traditionalist. Like he had, okay, long story short, there's a bunch of AIs on him, and they're actually taking his voice, his sermons, and they're changing his sermons. They actually sound more new agey, and then they're like changing his words. Like one is, he kept using the word summon. I have listened to Marmari on and off now for 3 years or more. Not sure on that one. 2. All I know is about a year. I think it was close to a year. And a man in his audience in his church stabbed his eye out or something. He was stabbed. It was around the same time who we consider our minister, even though it's long distance, is Pastor Baldwin had another really scary health scare around the same period of time. It was all a very strange amount of events. Or was the stabbing during one of Pastor Baldwin's, he had 2 scares almost back to back. Okay. So now they've taken Marmari and Emmanuel, and I was quite alarmed. So I had seen a few of them, and they have his voice exact, but it's just a picture of him. But they're taking and changing his entire message. And it was very disturbing because he can be harsh. He can be, I mean, he's been in trouble more than once on YouTube. His extremism on male and female roles, things like that. I actually did steer away then on those topics. Okay, so he's way over on that spectrum. Very, very traditionalist, very old lands, Orthodox type. And they're transposing his stuff. And this isn't what the message is supposed to be about. All right. Well, it is. Actually, it's all going to tie in. And so we're going to pray very quickly. Lord, Holy Spirit, please guide us here. Help Heather stay on track. Help her her ideas connect and stay on track, even if I trail off, that I trust that the story will lead back to one. So since the corruption has not stopped, it's actually escalated. And the more that people that have a huge following wanted to really keep at the forefront our human trafficking problem, minors in danger, women, a bunch of dark. The more that seems to happen, then these extra other things are fabricated. And I have said on numerous occasions, on and off with a few different stations, I never really helped them get anywhere, and that's not the point right now. Is there's a woman I periodically watch. Now she goes much more on a more intense, deep level of translation. She does work with numbers and things, so I know that can get really wild. You can start just seeing these number patterns, and I think that the enemy can use this. So I do not encourage these practices. From time to time I will do these as spiritual mental exercises with the Lord, and yes, I was getting a series of a 4 to a 5, a 4 and a 5, or those added up. And so That's 9. That's one of the complete numbers, but I would have to look at that. But we don't want to get focused on that. But this woman I go to, and she has women she works with, or a group, and they get really, I think they're amazing insights, translations, connected with concordance, scripture, and honestly, I've not really seen her far off on anything. She's raw, she's real. It would disturb a neuronormal type thinker. She's very spiritually minded. She's very open, and her station is actually growing. I think that she has been on YouTube for about 10 years, and I think just of recent it has started to pick up a little extra momentum. And I want to discuss things to do with yesterday. I believe it was June 20th, so she said she got, and I'm not saying this has anything to do with, okay, I'm just saying this is what stood out to me. She got Daniel 2:44 and verse 45. She has a very, I'm not going to say her name because I'm protecting her. She had a timestamp at 2:45 a.m. June 20th, 2025. If you add up 2025, that's 9. And 4 and 5 is 9. And God kept showing me this seizure still. It's the seizure down the center of the country. And I was just going to be lazy and leave that in the hands of the 2 people that watch the videos, is to look up the dew point, if we were to go by just geographical terms in a human sense. And we can't really go by that because God might have a different idea where he wants this split. I was getting for some years now something with between the Mississippi and Kansas, because God would have me focus on North Dakota, South Dakota, and something to do with Montana. And it had to do with these forced constant pipeline ideas, which are horrible for ranchers, farmers, natives' lands, everything. Most residents are highly opposed. It's one of those very oppositional situations where, I mean, the humans, the Americans of the United States of America, these humans that we live here as free citizens of God Creator, are opposed to these things. Yet, the entities that own too much, private entities, private business ownership, which is going to go so rampant with the current administration, and it was just as bad the other way, so I, for one, we can't go back to either paradigm. The Lord is breaking down. The breaking down process is unavoidable. We cannot avoid it. No amount of electric cars, no amount of this, that, or the other. But I do know this, is that the contradicting, hypocritical running of our country has gone to the point where God has been so patient. Nothing was recorded or done properly with any of the tribes, the original tribes here, and the tribes that were shipped over on ships, forced into slavery on top of what had already happened with the Native Americans. And don't get me going there, because we can't backtrack now. But it is part of this equation. I want to also say, I am sad and I feel woe for North, South Dakota, a part of Montana, and something with the Mississippi. So what I have recently been seeing, as I said, I think it's just a straight cut. I think there is one. The seizures and the underground fractures that are already present and have been there for millennial or since the beginning of time, or how God allowed the shifts of the continents, is the seizures and things under the Mississippi have been alarming geography people. They're alarmed all the time, but that's just their job. We all have certain jobs, and that's one of theirs, is to alarm everyone about all this crazy stuff going on underneath us all the time. Well, see, that's the thing, is that since that stuff was going on underneath us all the time, I think it was a large, huge red flag from Lord Creator, that just to kind of leave most of that be. There's a reason for its mechanisms. There's a reason for the rhythms underneath the center of the core of the earth all the way out, whatever shape the earth is, I don't know. Is it oval? Is it round? We don't, and for the record, I was never a flat earther. I look at trends periodically. I look at the ones that are the most outlandish over to the ones that maybe make sense. I don't believe, but to analyze the situation, I have been known to put that idea on and sit in it for a minute and say, where are they getting this? Okay, but usually through maybe weeks or months of on and off glancings of particular movements and cult phenomenons, it's usually really off somewhere. And so and that's what's wrong, is America's really off. So I am very concerned now, because it's less populated up in the Dakotas. The predominant population is in the more in a more fewer areas. Okay, anyways, it's something with the pipelines. God is furious still about that. Good Lord, there ain't a person up there in any of the lands that want this pipeline. Everyone knows this is a horrible idea. Not to mention, I don't get me started on pipelines. The Mississippi and this thing, and God, it's God. But when it happens, they're going to try to blame it on a foreign entity government. They're going to try to blame all these other reasons, when really it is God that is furious. And I kid you not, we are not going to be able to get from one area to the other. Will there be able to be a bridge finally built, like a literal bridge, like the Mackinac Island Bridge, that Wild Coyotes Bridge they did up there? Have you guys ever been on it? How have us humans even been allowed to do the things that we do? Do you know where they got the money? Trafficking. And we're going to go right back there real quick. So as more of the bigwigs and people leaving the Zionists at a flooding rate, by the way, and God is like, here it is, and then what? Now they're going to blow up more people and send our boys and girls over somewhere that is not for our children to be blown up no more. We have enough to fix here. We have to protect our borders right now. It's literally like hanging a sign up temporarily. Internal and external borders in distress. Construction underway. No entry, no exit for a short amount of time. Yeah, that's scary because I never thought I'd say that. But they've already done it. Meaning a very short amount of time. If you have to leave, you have to leave. But what I'm saying is, like, nobody's getting citizenship for a moment. Maybe 6 months to a year. And then we have to figure out who should be here, who isn't. Because there are big old messes going on. And a bunch of people are lying. And yes, ICE have been misbehaving in certain regions because you have cartels working within police systems and then the ICE agents, and it's disturbing. So this seizure, or it opens up, and then I was actually starting to see a slant, like a teepee. How extreme, I don't know, but it's going to be enough where everyone is scared to death. But hopefully you're scared to death of Creator God. He's going to literally open it up. I don't know if this is when that lava thing is coming out, or first he's going to do the seizure and then give us more time. So while the repairs of the wars, or everyone's saying it's false flags, once we are all aligned, and this is going to sound, it is a form of manifestation with the Lord. Once everyone is aligned, and we are saying, resign all you swine. And swine encompasses, and we will come up with an acronym for swine. Because swine is going to mean stuff about corruption, slavery, and a bunch of stuff. And I will come up with something, maybe fun, maybe not. But let me make sure I got all my notes. So that lady got Daniel 2:44 to 45. So there's this thing, and I don't know if it's going to be completely straight. But they're going to keep chipping away at this pipeline, or there's some kind of fracking that they're not telling anyone about. It's going to appear to be maybe an explosion, or that it was fully but it's not. It is and it isn't. So then God will use that disobedience, the forced pipeline, the forced stuff, and something with this thing, there's going to be an extreme heat in the center. Maybe it will be bombs, but it's going to try to be blamed on something else. But really, whatever this major event is, he is going to seizure. We will not be able to get crossed. And so what I finally forced myself to look up was, if you just take the 48 states, Lebanon, Kansas is technically, I guess, the due center of the nation. If you take 50 states, I don't get that. So I guess then you would include the miles from Hawaii or Alaska. So then that would shift us over to the westward. The dew point would be Bellefourche, Bellefourche, or Fouche. I don't know if that's an R I did. It looks kind of like a R. South Dakota. Resign all you swine. Ministry will resume. I will only spiff up really rude language about corruption when you leave the First Amendment alone. And so far you haven't been able to, and you can't leave the Second Amendment. You can't leave nothing alone. So that will continue. I will try to keep it separate. Sometimes it slips in to the ones that are supposed to be a little more subdued. And okay, so we got the dew center, we have the pipeline, and there is a lot of friction underneath the Mississippi River, and there's lots of bridges. So then I'm wondering, is he just going to make the seizure under the Mississippi and really flip a whole bunch of us out? But I still was seeing something between that center point of South Dakota, Kansas, and I didn't want to say it before because I'm like, I don't know, would that split the state in half? So that's, I would say that that's not important because there's not a whole lot we can do about it. And lastly, I don't have a time frame. I just know that it's sooner than later, and it's inevitable because it'll be another wake-up call. And hopefully there's not many lives lost, anything like that, but obviously infrastructures, buildings, waterways, contamination, all of that is going to be completely disastrous. And it has to do with this pipeline, the abuse of the natives up there over these pipelines, and all of the crap that's still going on, which has never ended, by the way. It's only shifted and been covered in other tribes because the other ones bowed down a little more and went into the gambling industry and all that, and literally just added heaping more problems, gave everyone too much more money to get too soft and go along with the feds. It's another prison type of situation, even though it increased housing, it increased their well-beings in a lot of capacities. Then the tribes that never signed with the federal government, and there's very little of them left, are so still struggling, and they are owed hundreds upon thousands of millions of dollars just for the lies from then. Now everyone is going wild about Tucker, who couldn't, with Cruz. How much of it was staged, I'm sure more than we would want to know. But all I could see with the shadow was Cruz with one of these on. And the thing is that's fine because we're an open nation, but we are not going to pray for murders. We will pray for the innocent victims of these genocides and the hostage situation of not only people in Israel scared to death of their own leader and all these false narratives about this nuclear. You can go back, all the smart guys and girls have already said. So you need to go to the smart guys and girls. And there's plenty of us for this not to keep going on. So, and there was that one movie in the 90s, it was about the bees or the ants. And they could have overthrown this tyrannical rule, but yet they just kept working for the queen bee. But really the threat was so minute. And they could have peacefully taken over this tyrannical situation, and they were letting kids, these were like kids movies, cartoons. My son was young, but I immediately saw the undertones of this hive mentality, the forced hive mentality, and it really threw me because they wanted my son's generation a complete hive mentality, very, very interfaced one to another, very much the same. Don't speak up, maybe still, believe in arming yourself and all that, but there's just this different thing they were really pushing, was this kind of a like for hive mentality, but also the danger of it, but yet it was almost as if it was an inevitable too. I couldn't honestly believe those cartoons, but maybe I was seeing it at a different level. But I can read subliminal. Like I can read, God gave me the gift, I can read subliminal in messages, propaganda. Some may take longer for me to fully get, but that's been there a long time. Well, because I had to learn that to navigate my environment and the multiple shows that we had to perform, I guess you could say, in the community. For some reason, though, my brother and I were thrown to the to the wolves with the crookedness of the father that raised us. Something, and then we were just, that was how it laid out. They discarded the first one early on when gay wasn't cool. Being gay wasn't cool and people were getting they were in danger. And then now that it's hip, I think then they made her into the golden. But I think she signed in with the organized crime to some degree. And I wonder a lot about all those flying around. Was that really just for another company? Yeah. So anyhow, it was just something that started to pop up in the subliminal messengery of the few random visits back to the old family home. It was a major, major shift in power in the toxicity of the network. Okay, so we have the extreme heat, there's a split. Because the lies keep increasing, distractions from the real problem, trafficking of all sorts. Cruz wears a beanie, it's so obvious now, he bows down to Netanyahu, not God. 48 states, Lebanon, Kansas, that is the center of, and then 50 states. So something with the Mississippi, a forced pipeline, and maybe just it could be a mix of all of it. So I can't say it's just God. It could very well be like a terrorist thing that gets down and starts blowing stuff up. But God's going to take it, Creator God's going to take it as the opportunity to say, oh, we're going to keep this up. We're going to keep this up with my original people of the land. Okay, here you go. And it's going to be kind of like this, but not like extreme, like a teepee. Okay, let's not be ridiculous. But it appears, and it's going to be far enough away, like you won't be wanting to bungee jump over or nothing like that. It's not going to work. Hang gliding, I wouldn't advise that. It's going to be enough to make people really wonder who owns the power of this universe. And then we will hopefully rebuild our nation, those that are left, and those that can help spiff up corruption. And then that's where we're headed. And we will do a fun swine, I don't know if it's an acronym. So it would be like, so we'll take S, we could even make a poem, we can make a song with each letter. So we would take SWINE, and I'd love for people to send in their creative ideas, but nobody does, is we could say S for Satan. And I'm getting all kinds of ideas right now, so we'll do that for the next show. Because that's just not original. I started right away with S, as Satan. too many ideas. I gotta go. I love haikus too. We do a haiku, a poem. Oh, I love that little zany English teacher of mine. She was so funny. If it wasn't for Miss Bauer, it would have been the driest predator teachers that I've ever known. And do you guys want to hear a funny story? All those male teachers that were weird little boy watchers, they would target me early on. The teachers that were twisted, either witches or these perverts with kids, they would single me out. I remember that now. That's nuts. And they always took the side of Ann and Tom and them. I really can't believe what you guys protected. It's just on so many disturbing levels, but we don't want to get off track here. But most of the serious, like, sick to the core, like they would not be rehabilitatable. Serial pedophiles are not rehabilitatable. I looked into studies upon studies for years, and there's really the ones that just seek it and they just don't want help. They never get help. They have to be locked away. Now there's other options, but we can't go there right now. Because the Lord says it's His to business, not ours. We just have to do what we're supposed to do when we're supposed to do it. Most likely I forgot something very important. But the division is high. Mostly is, and we're all going to fall prey to it. I probably do daily to some degree. For momentarily, or things will get me a little bit. My feathers is the corruption. I mean, it's steepingly high. And I don't want to see anyone harmed during this thing. But part of me kind of wishes I could see it if I thought everyone could get safe before this major seizure, where maybe it will finally be a reprieve with everyone, where they'll just go, I mean, the fact that it would have to be that extreme though, but that's how extreme we are as humans. Our will is a naughty thing sometimes. It truly is. But at the same time, a harnessed will with God Creator can move mountains. I swear it. Now you could get killed in the process, but it's for the glory of God, okay? And that's what we always have to remember. Outside of anything else, outside of anything that ever happened or will happen or is currently happening, the glory is to God alone. And God knows His children's hearts and where that really is. He knows what volume we are at with truly following God and where it's awfully askewed. And this seizure is going to possibly save us. However, we won't be able to get over to the mountains very well, to the Smokies, and the most densely populated of our country, which is the East Coast. And I never wanted to stay, but then they started all burning up quicker than I thought out west, and wasn't going to do no good up in the mountain. God's got all the bears, the coyotes, the wolves, everyone taking care of them. I'm of no use to them. He wanted me with the real predators. Now, I hope that this message finds you well. I hope it prepares you. I hope if you were getting any kind of stirring, or you're like, this thing was setting up with something, that I pray that it is a message for someone to help encourage and give courage to, not to scare, because remember, even if I'm in the middle of that seizure, if we even see it ever in our lifetime, is because what if this is for like the kids 30, 40, 50 years from now, and they stump on these silly videos of mine on YouTube and laugh, and who's this nut And and then they're like, oh my God, she was talking about that thing. Remember, Grandpa said that thing about the thing, the thing separated, and then they had to put the big. Alright, it's just a joke right now, but I love you guys, okay? And I wouldn't even care if that never happened. Because so far now, the state tried to do all kinds of extra stuff. It got lost in the mail. Then they had it with an amended court order, but it was through the state, but it looked fake. Then they put the letter on front. All of it was post dated wrong. The post office means it was tampering with my mail too long again. They actually held the last residents' workers' compensation bills or checks or something. They held them forever. Dumped those in our mailbox. We're not supposed to get any mail in our mailbox. We have a post office box. And all that over a week or more late, with all the dates and stuff askewed. Did you clear up that death certificate that you had pre-done in the jail there for me? Okay. Love you. I hope you got all that cleared up, alright? Sorry I'm still breathing. Sometimes I am too, but overall not. It's a mixed bag. And I think that God knows my heart, so that's why it makes me stick around. So I don't know, like, if you want me to do a full report, I can do a full listing of all the medical malpractice and how it was all on purpose. If we'd like, we could go over. So we'd be going back to about 2005 for sure. There's definitely some scary incidences prior, but we'll go to there and then we can work our way up to now. And we'll go over the purposeful attempts to take my life, not only in the hospitals, but you're going to have to get this blood thing of mine. You're going to have to get this cleared up with the cults and the Satanists. My blood was never for sale. I never signed any forms. If this is something my sick, demented parents did, someone needs to go back and you're satanic. My blood is not for sale. You've been doing stuff with my blood for too long. And then but what you like to do is now stick me in the hospital, fry my brain some more with shit that doesn't work, and you fuck me all up real bad. You don't do proper tests on my organs or nothing. And you know that I'm not wellish all the way, and then what you do is you take too much blood. So you're going to fuck off, and Dr. Kabir's going to fuck off, and all you're going to fuck off, and Satan and all the minions, and when these contracts that were against my will, I never had a clue about, have destroyed my life, and those I loved, is my blood is not for sale, you sick fucks. Alright, I said I wasn't going to mix it all together, but here we are. Love you.